Joe Biden's gaffes used to be comical. The odd stumble and mumble here and there, but the American people overlooked these because the president was still active and doing his job. Recently, though, these one-off stumbles have progressed to downright bizarre daily behaviour, made worse by the fact the president is intent on running for a second term. Sky News All-Stars Dave Rubin, James Morrow and Rita Panahi dissect the progressively bizarre behaviour of Joe Biden. Joe Biden is falling apart before our eyes, and fast. Gone are the days of Joe Biden tripping upstairs being the worst of his gaffes. Now the president's cognitive deterioration has progressed to verbal nonsense and an obvious absent-mindedness, which have Americans and the world very worried. This all came to a head last week at the UN, where Joe Biden gave a speech that, for the most part, made no sense, says Sky News All-Star James Morrow.
This week, the world got an up-close look at Joe Biden, and it appears that he really is coming apart before our eyes. The occasion for this examination was the annual meeting of the UN General Assembly in New York, when the world's leaders gather at that great temple of uselessness that is the United Nations to put on a show to convince the rest of us they know what they're doing. Well, good luck with that. And of course, leading the pack here was our man, Joe Biden. Here he was addressing the leaders of the globe, and I tell you what, I feel pretty bad for some of the folks who are doing simultaneous translations.
Now, even as we evolve our institutions and drive creative new partnerships, let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct.
Certain principles about your guess is as good as mine, then.
Also at the UN, Joe Biden raised eyebrows when he made the sign of the cross while speaking to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
And then there was this bizarre moment when, meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Joe Biden made the sign of the cross.
I've checked it over 40 years, and our friendship goes a long way and can take us a long way.
I'm sorry, let's just see that again. It's just all too weird. I don't know, Faith and Begora, no.
Again at the UN, Joe Biden had multiple awkward incidents with the Brazilian president. Initially, he had trouble hearing, fumbling with his interpreter device.
And then there was this little meeting with the president of Brazil, which played out more like a hearing aid commercial you might hear on talkback radio.
And to say to President Biden, can you hear me, President Biden? This is a historical moment for Brazil and for the U.S.
Are you there, President Biden? It's me, Margaret.
And then after the speech, Biden forgot to shake the Brazilian president's hand, which visibly annoyed him.
Biden, of course, forgot to shake the Brazilian president's hand, to his great delight. Not.
Joe Biden's falls have become so frequent that they have been immortalized in a parody trailer for a James Bond film aptly named License to Fall.
What are we doing?
Frailty has become so bad that Vice President Kamala Harris has been forced to take on a carer's role to ensure the president remains upright.
facts there. But this week, it wasn't a bunny. As President Biden put it, it was a highest-ranking black Indian of Indian background who stepped in to stop Joe wandering aimlessly after an appearance. Take it away, Nurse Kamala.
Political tumbles, Joe Biden's bizarre verbal gaffes, random screams and whispers have people worried.
Look, what I was able to do in what they call the G7 among the NATO countries and European countries, I was able to get them to all agree, and then around the world.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing there. Did you have an onion tied around your belt too? But there was also in that speech the usual random screaming.
You're going to pay somewhere between 20 and 40% less in those other countries. Same exact drug, made by the same exact company.
What else am I missing here? Oh, what else should be in one of Joe Biden's speeches? Oh, yeah, of course. The creepy whisper.
The new economic vision has been labeled by those in the Wall Street Journal and the London Economist and some of the more conservative press as Bidenomics. Well, they didn't mean it as a compliment at first. But now they're getting it.
Perhaps the most bizarre of all of Joe Biden's gaffes have been his outright lies, which show his memory and cognition are failing him, says Sky News All-Star Dave Rubin.
Now, let's talk about how the White House just will not engage with, yet again, more proof that Joe Biden makes things up. Because in the days before the internet, a politician could walk into a room full of people who won't record it, who won't send it around, and make up stories that I feel you're paying. Because here's this story that's kind of plausible. But in the internet age, where we can know exactly where he was and exactly what he said, he lies all the time.
Yes, and I guess that's why he's whispering, because he hopes people won't catch up on it.
It's so insane. I mean, the guy was brought up in the Catholic Church and in a Jewish temple. He was brought up in an Asian family and always ate Hispanic food. He was black, he was white, he was gay. Like, it's all so insane. He lies about everything. But yes, the confusion with him is that it's hard to tell if he's lying or if he genuinely doesn't know what he's saying anymore. I don't think either one really matters, like which one is true, and they're probably both true to a certain degree. But they had this incredible moment, this press conference, where they send John Kirby up there, and somebody asks him, hey, why does Joe keep lying about everything? And he lists out the lies. And then Kirby's like, well, he's just honored to be president. And it's like, man, we expect nothing from these people anymore. You really have to admire it in a certain way. They have lowered the bar to the extent that basically if he doesn't fall up the stairs, which he's also done a couple times, they consider it a pretty good day.
And after all of this, the White House is getting desperate. They're pulling out all the stops to try to cover up the president's bizarre antics.
Two very prominent Washington Post articles today talking about President Biden's age, and that's a big concern among the young voters. Are people right to be concerned about his age at this point?
Well, let me just say this. When I talk to these young voters, what they want is a leader who is in touch with the problems of today and has a vision for what we can do today and in the future to deal with it. President Biden is the first president to take on in any substantial way the issue of the climate crisis.
Even Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre resorted to a nonsensical word salad to attempt to cover up Biden's border failure.
What do you call it here at the White House when 10,000 people illegally cross the border in a single day?
So what do you call it, Peter, when GOP puts forth a wait, no, you can't. I'm answering. Okay, we're gonna move on. No, we're moving on.
Please.
In the back.
You said you were stopping the flow of the border.
No. I tried to answer, Peter. I tried to answer the question. You stopped me. Let's go.
These cover-up messages, however, are failing, with latest polls showing Americans are losing faith in their president.